Did you watch the Game Awards last night? I did. I watched it with the stream. We watched the whole goddamn thing. Always a great produced show. I bet you it'll do over 100 million in views this year. First time it's gotten that threshold. That's an amazing threshold to reach. It was boring. It wasn't a great show. It was wonderfully produced, wonderfully made. I have a great deal of respect for good Sir Jeff Keighley and what he's built and what he continues to build, but it was boring. I mean, it was probably the most boring show I've seen since he started doing this. I know he talks about wanting this show to be a celebration of the medium that he loves so much, but he also talks about it being, inspired by his love of the Oscars growing up, and why can't we have a video game awards show that has that same level of respect? But he's also, torn because he's trying to create a viable product. And we're in an age now where even, the biggest beast in the yard, which is the Oscars, collapses every year with its ratings. Award shows are kind of a relic, right? And so he's left with this show that excites gamers every year, including me, but it feels so long in the tooth, and it feels like it needs a jump start. Again, he's going to have ratings through the roof, so it's not in danger right now, but if it keeps going, someone's going to come along and make a better and more entertaining award show, and this is going to look positively old-fashioned, which I don't think is what he's going for. Top 10 things I would do to fix the Game Awards. Number one, the show needs better curation when it comes to what videos, what premieres, what games are going to be announced. I understand there's probably some balance where Jeff goes out and gives benefits to the big companies. I don't think Sony's paying him for a Horizon Forbidden West trailer, but I certainly do think that companies like the guys who make Warhammer, I would imagine, or the guys who make even 2K Tiny Tina's Wonderlands are going, hey, let us pay you to promote our shit. Right? There's a balance there, and certainly he's got to allow things in to pay the bills and to make profit that may not be the perfect games to show, but I think they got the balance wrong. I think obviously people tune in to see stuff like the Suicide Squad trailer, Elden Ring, even though I don't know much about it, I get its phenomenon, Genshin Impact, the new Star Wars Eclipse trailer. That's why people are there. And there's a little patience for stuff like another Fall Guys trailer. There's this thing called Tchia, I think, which is a PlayStation, I don't know, so it looks like Moana. The Gollum goddamn game, how many fucking times do we have to see the Gollum trailer that shows absolutely nothing, right? Those are things that people start to glaze over, and the show's over 3 hours long. So I get that you need them in there, but it becomes easier, and I heard more people last night than ever before saying, next year I'm not even going to watch it. I'm just going to wait till the next day or late that night and just scroll through whatever the trailers were, because it's really boring to sit through a bunch of these fucking things that almost feel like they would be part of a smaller B-tier publisher E3 YouTube video reveal in the summer versus like a big show at the Game Awards. So I would curate better, even if it means you take a little bit of a financial hit, because I think ultimately you're going to take a bigger one if you keep the show as bloated. Number two, you got to kill the musical acts. You really just have to. Who are they for? I know back in the days of television, I think the reason SNL, for example, has musical acts is there might have been something, union rules or something, or even like going over broadcast, that if you did a variety show, you had to include music for some fucking reason. But those days are over. And so at this point, do we really... I mean, I love Sting. I grew up with the Police. I'm a kid of the 80s. Do we really fucking need to see Sting up there singing some fucking boring song? I know it's from Arcane, but so what, right? Do we really need to see the flute guy? I'm just going to call it the flute guy. I know it was Horizon, but it's the fucking flute guy. He stole the show. Do we really need to see that? Does anybody want to see that? It's like, I know you want to fill time with something engaging, but why are you choosing that? There are all kinds of things that seem like they would celebrate games more than that. I mean, I'll just give you some ideas. I'm not saying they're the world's best ideas, but they reflect more of what I'm talking about. Get the two best Smash Bros. Players in the world, fly them out there, break it up into 3 segments, best of 3 matches, and whoever wins gets, money for charity that goes to their charity of their choice. That's gaming. It makes more sense than watching a musical act, watching a round of the best players playing, one of the biggest competitive games out there. Have something where 3 or 4 people are chosen to pitch a brand new game, just like fans, and then, hire a concept artist to create 3 or 4 images, and then have them pitch the game and have the audience vote on it at home. Have celebrities or well-known people talking about their favorite game of all time and what it meant to them. Do a battle royale between like 20 celebrities at their own homes, and see which one emerges victorious. And every time somebody dies, you drop them off the screen and shit, and who knows, Gal Gadot wins, the Fortnite Game Awards. I mean, just something that feels more like in between the awards or in between the announcements, that is more entertaining. Why are we watching people fucking sing shit? It's boring. Number 3, get a new host. I know. Listen to me. Personally, I like Jeff Keighley a lot. Professionally, I like Jeff Keighley a lot. There's a time and place for Jeff Keighley. Being an awards MC is not that time or place. Just because he's vanilla, he's super dull, right? If you think back to like Ricky Gervais doing the Golden Globes, he's fucking hilarious. I remember being at DICE a couple of years back, 5, 6, 7 years back, maybe more, I don't know. And Jay Moore, the comedian actor Jay Moore, just fucking killed it. He was hilarious, right? It becomes part of the show. But Jeff, going back to Jeff every couple of minutes or 20 minutes or whatever it is just boring. He's like, hey, how about, vanilla's the best word for it. And again, that's not an insult to Jeff. It should always call it the Keighley's. Call it, Jeff Keighley's The Game Awards. It should always be his show. And he should always be a presence at the show. But is he really the best guy to be hosting this and moving this along? I don't think so. Number 4. We need more things like this.
Come on out, pod friend. Great to see you. You should put a bow tie on or something. Come on out, pod friend. Don't be shy. Looks like he's got a note or something. You got a note there, pod friend? Yeah, all right.
We need more things like the pot. And I know it's kind of silly and stupid, but, and I'm not saying go into Spike TV territory, but maybe you go a little bit into Japanese game show territory. Get people dressed as Mario in the audience and Sonic in the audience and Master Chief in the audience, and have whoever the host is going around to the audience doing like a, interview and talking to them, and just, get an improv guy and just make it stupid and fun or whatever. It just, the pot, you perked up when you saw the pot. Right? It was cool. It was like, I knew what it was from too, but it was a little brief moment of lunacy and imagination in a show that for the most part, it just feels like your granddad's award shows. It had a little bit of a pop, which I think it needs more of. Number 5, bring the awards that you do give out. You don't give out that many. Which whatever, but bring the awards to the audience. There's nothing more boring. I was literally driving in the car going, what could make it more interesting to watch somebody walk from the audience up to the stage? It's just dull. There's a reason in movies when somebody gets out of the car and goes to the front door, they leave the car and they cut and they're already at the front door. It's just walking. Have somebody bring the award to the recipient in his seat and have him just kind of waiting, because it's just boring. You just cut some time out. You keep things moving. It's called pacing, baby. Come on, look into it, Keighley. Number 6. I get that this is never going to be a proper award show, and I get that maybe for whatever reason, maybe it's ratings. I'm sure it is. Broadcasting, the guy or the girl getting the award for best soundtrack may not be the most interesting television. So I understand. But at that point, then, you got to kind of ask yourself, what are you doing it for? And if it is a celebration of games, here's what I recommend. Have the top 10 games of the year, celebrating the best and the brightest and the coolest of 2021. And make that the surprise. You don't know which games are going to be on until the show. And so every 20 minutes you unveil another one of the best of 2021, right? So there is no sense of hierarchy. It's just like, oh, my game that I loved made it. Oh, look, there's Resident Evil Village, it made it. There's Ratchet and Clank, it made it. And then maybe at the very end, you leave 20, 30 minutes at the end and you have the audience at home vote on which one they think the game of the year is. But at least that way, the drama or the suspense is what games are going to be in that top 10 list. That becomes a lot more interesting, and you don't have to worry about bringing people on to the stage to get award. You don't have to worry about calling it an award show when in essence it is, but it's kind of really not. And it feels like it's trying to have its cake and eat it too. And it's not a good look, and it's also not as entertaining as it could be. So I would absolutely change it and make it a Games of the Year celebration and keep those under wraps until the show and unveil them every X number of minutes to keep the suspense going. Number 7, I think we should vote in real time like American Idol. I mean, certainly do it on your computer. I'm not saying do an 800 number, but it seems like the night of the show, it's going to be more fun that you're sitting there and you're voting on the computer. Just kind of open up the voting in real time. The idea that you're doing it beforehand, at least for the audience award, I would let the audience vote on every single award if you're going to keep the awards. And just kind of say, hey, the audience gave it to this, our judges gave it to that. But I think letting the audience interact more with these awards on the show itself, I think would be really, really cool. And I think even to the point that sometimes just doing crazy stuff like, you log into the site, you're voting, and, at some point Keeley just, brings some celebrity with him on stage, and they're able to sort of send out a Zoom invite to the person voting and saying, hey, we're going to put you on the show. And it's like you get people, it's almost like chat roulette or something. They're just totally surprised, and now they're there. And these little moments, come on now. Entertainment, baby. It's got to be entertaining. Number 8, I get it. It should never be the VMAs, but they can mix. Look, if you got best esports coach, which I think is a ridiculous award, best content creator, whatever. If you're going to have awards like that, then how about awards that are actually game-centric but fun? You could have best gaming cosplay of the year. That's visual. Bring those people up on stage. Best death in a game, sexiest game character, most time spent in a game, biggest scare in a game, the game world I'd want to spend most time in, that I'd want to live in. Just things that are more, that are like, oh, that's kind of a fun, interesting, novel award. It doesn't mean anything, but it makes for good television or good broadcasting or whatever. I think there needs to be more fun added to these awards, especially if it's not really going to be a super serious award show to begin with, which clearly that's not the direction they're going. They were hinting at this last night with sort of the pizza emote that you could get in Final Fantasy Online or 14 or whatever it's called, or when the Bethesda guy came out and gave all these codes away on screen. But it was still very one way. Most people are watching this on their phones and their PCs and their tablets or whatever. The show needs an overlay that is interactive. If the Bethesda guy is giving codes away, you should be able to play a mini game, to get the code online. Or if people want to vote, you should see it happening online right there. Or every now and then, maybe it's like you're giving away like a PS5 or whatever, a gaming rig. And every time Mario appears on the screen, you click it. And at the end of the show, everyone who's found all the Marios, there's a random drawing of those people, and they win these prizes. It feels like if you're going to make a show about games, which are all about interactivity, and it feels like if you're primarily going to be putting this on the internet, why not push the interactive portion to really engage the audience more? Last thing I would say, and this is just because I do like Keeley's goal of celebrating the medium. If you had like an unsung hero segment, or every like 3, I think it would be cool to have people talking about, like a montage of people talking about games of that year that are never going to be game of the year contenders, but for them was their personal game of the year that for whatever reason, it may have been like a B-rated, C-rated game, but it connected with them in a specific way that really kind of touched them and made that their game of the year. I would want to see stories like that. So those would be my top 10 changes to the Game Awards that I think will allow the show to be much more entertaining than it was last night, keep it relevant, and keep it safe from a competitor. Because if not, someone's going to come along and say, I think I can build a better mousetrap. Keeley built a great one, but it does feel like your grandfather's mousetrap. It's time for an update 2.0 Game Awards, and hopefully they get going on that. All right, there you go. Hope you're well. See ya. Bye.